been a while, and I am randomly in leeway. This time of starting. So, it's been a while, definitely. And during that time, I have upgraded some of my characters, specifically the ones I'm main right now. So this is what I've updated so far. Wanderer at 74 now has an attack power of 1,751 for about a basic. Alhaitham is also up there with 1,527.
Wait. Huh?
But much more health. And more defense and elemental mastery.
Wait.
Kokomi, she is now I've leveled her up to 1,000 attack power, but mostly we're still resolved with her talents until I get to the next section. Oh, what is this? I have not fought against Signora yet. Maybe that's something we can do, if that allows me to update her. I really just might do that. I've also updated Lisa, so now she's at 1,000 attack power as well. Still with Mashino regular. So I keep my main four that I started with, as in Mashino, Kaya, and Amber, and Lisa as well, all around the same level, and I am slowly increasing these three's level. I'm bringing up Yanfei because she would be my second favorite fire type besides Amber, only because it's catalyst, not a bow. Razor's still being up there, though I haven't updated him in a while. I do think Mona is very useful when teaming for that fire flower. I do need to update Yao Yao, because she's very useful if I can't use Kokomi. I also got Rosaria a little while back. I don't think I showed that one. I also have Farazan, which all I really have for her is just using her for the 25% more scavenger thing in Sumeru? Yeah. Cookie, I also need to update her. I don't why did I not? Oh, because it's the ruined serpent. Okay. Because I have everything else, just not that. Just wondering why. Zingling, I also would like to increase her stuff. Oh, well that's good. I have that stuff. Dang it. I didn't know I could just hold it down. I realized that then when I was spamming stuff I needed. still need to update her on other stuff. I need to learn how to use Bennett.
Oh, ow!
I've updated
Where did that come
or
from?
leveled him up pretty alright. Obviously, I need to change out some of the things he's using. But outside of that, I have a lot of his stuff. And besides that, I just need to learn how to use him in battle.
There's no such thing as pure freedom in this world. Even the wind cannot blow on forever.
The only reason I did not want to fight Signora for a long time, because one, I did not have Kokomi or any water-related characters yet. Two, I didn't have any flying types yet. Wonder. And three, I didn't have a high enough character thing, and now if Dendro, it will be a different story. I was originally gonna do some story, but I might as well do some fighting with Signora since I have the full original resin stuff. So Signora, her battle should be in Inazuma. Here. Yeah. I remember when I played against her, it's a very big struggle because I was kept in one corner. While she just attacked me in one corner. I had to heal a bunch of times.
This is no place to loaf around.
Wait. Huh? No. Whatever.
So, I have not battled her before, so, I mean besides the main story, I am gonna do low. Wait, is this fighting Signora? I got to figure it out. Because I know this is where... This isn't really Signora, is it? Oh, I have to do number 2 to get that. Okay. For me to get this, I need a fighter in 70 plus. I guess what I will do is practice in duel 1 and then go to party level 70. Because all my characters are above 70, I'll update all of them so they're around maybe 78 real quick.
Wait. Huh? No.
I can at least do
Whatever.
15 each there. I'll do 10 extra.
Relax.
10. 15. 10. Because I don't want to overuse my stuff, but with that it should be okay. Yeah, this should be a good setup even against Signora, which I did not favor my battle with her. But we shall see how it goes. Depending on the combat phase you are during, Signora the battlefield will enter sheer cold or blazing heat state. While you're in the field, sheer cold or blazing heat will accumulate if you start if you hit Signora's attacks corresponding to the type. Flame. It's either. Huh.
You're trembling. Is it the cold or just cowardice? Yeah.
Come a little closer.
Into the frozen void.
Behold!
I never thought I'd actually
wind
deal
rises.
with this.
Quick fall. Behold!
Detestable.
You're in for a little shock.
Search for it.
Into the frozen void.
Damn. Maybe I should bring in Yanfei next. Clearly this is a good team setup if it wasn't having to deal with
Cry louder!
Detestable.
The wind rises. Behold!
Tactless rodent.
I guess I'm fine. I'm not really into buying so much to have that on, since I don't really get many people. Though, thank you for the offer. Ooh.
The wind rises.
I have no characters.
The Tsaritsa's benevolence has no place for transgressors!
Okay, I got it. And then she goes into heat mode, correct? Oh, she does. Okay, I see. I completely forgot she had a frozen mode. I just knew I had so much to deal with in this specific mode. Which was annoying as hell. But now I got Kokomi.
Let's move out. Oh, wow.
Here you are. The process of elimination.
Behold!
Hold the line.
Who dares call me a witch? Not even
Here you are.
ashes will remain.
How bold.
All must burn!
Flicker.
Embrace your searing reckoning.
Well now.
Allow me.
Here you are.
Squall Fury!
Who dares call me a witch?
The wind rises.
Come, put
Upon
up
the
a
gale.
fight. I never asked for redemption.
Well, that went
Never.
down a little more smoothly. I just know it will still be a pain in the ass when doing the 70 level one. It might take a little longer, take a little stronger. And I will likely then after that, either do a small mission or just go on to the main Archon quest. Probably the new one, but likely the one we're already working on.
Hold the line!
All of these characters are really good.
This is no place to look.
I'll just deal with the part where she has to go cold mode. Yeah, I don't need it. I need Sigma's Flame to update Kokomi. Which sucks. Signora is not my favorite. I don't know about Shogun yet, because I just haven't battled her enough. She can still be a pain.
You're trembling. Is it the cold or just cowardice? Detestable. Tactless rodent.
Rest and rebuild!
Behold! Search for it!
Detestable.
The wind rises. Quit following.
I see.
Flicker.
Okay, there we go. Now we can go on to the fire mode, which went... That went a lot faster than, to be honest, than I thought. The other form. The ice form. I guess because Dendro looks really easy against her. I think Dendro goes well with that, with all versions, I believe.
Allow me!
What happens if I don't approach her? I'm gonna wait for Kokomi to reset and then head over there.
Hold the line!
Here you are.
Not every wound will heal.
Let's move out.
Scatter.
Surrendering will be gentle.
Squall and Fury, bow your head!
Hold the line!
Not every wound will heal.
Here you are.
Hit. All
Behold.
must burn.
Search forth!
Allow me!
That's far enough!
Embrace your searing reckoning.
Well now.
Not every wound will heal.
The wind rises.
Hold the line!
I never asked for redemption. Never.
That went pretty damn well. What? Oh, that sucks. Well, now I know I do. I can battle her. Well, that means I can only do this next week. Sorry, Kokomi, you're gonna have to wait a little. Damn. Well, it didn't really waste any gems, I don't think, unless it did for getting into it. No, I don't think so. But I ended up testing it and wasted my one time. Oh well, there is another time. And for me, at least now I know I can fight Signora a little less worryingly. So I was not able to get you. I will next time in about a week. Oh, 5 days, not 7? That's much more generous. Huh. Well, let's do some Archon quests. Both are in Sumeru, but I would prefer to start this one. I think I accidentally continued a little bit of it, only due to the fact that I was in Sumeru and it just pulled me into a cut. So it might be a little out of order, but I don't think we'll miss too much. Because I spawned here and immediately put me in a sequence. So here we are over here.
Alright, I guess I'll go with my textual criticism and your editorial direction for the first draft. I have a feeling that the missing Kabuki Mono will end up being the main focus of this paper. Ugh, if only we knew where to find that traveler. From what they say about him, this seems like the kind of thing he'd know about.
Oh, you're the traveler, you say?
Hey, what's with that face? Don't believe us?
No, of course I believe you. Actually, I first heard about your great exploits when I was still in Inazuma. This is my first time coming face to face with you and your mysterious silver-haired companion. I couldn't believe my luck, and out of force of habit, I started, examining the evidence. Sorry.
Oh, Sawada, for the love of... Sorry, we don't get out much, so our social skills are kinda lacking. Traveler, I hear you've helped many people a great deal and been to many places. Would you be able to tell us about Tatarasuna?
Actually, we don't know much about that place either. In fact, we only came over here because we heard you talking about it and wanted to learn more.
I see. My teacher chose this area of research as a personal challenge. He said it's difficult to get into because even Inazumans don't know much about Tatarasuna's past. But who'd have thought that...
If you don't mind, I'd love to show you all my outline for the book I'm writing about Tatarasuna.
Hold on, Sawada. Don't you think that's a bit of a deep dive or a first read?
Well, fair point. In that case, please ease yourselves in gently by taking a look at Akaba's latest essay draft.
Let me give you some background. This all started with the discovery of some records in Tatarasuna. The writings mentioned someone by the name of Mikoshi Nagamasa, who crafted a fine blade. But in the end, he threw it into a fire to destroy it, and killed his servant Katsuragi. Why? Well, no one knows. Apart from the swordmaker, his servant, and the one who wrote this all down, the records also mention a Kabuki Mono. This seems to be an Inazuman word for an eccentric stranger, someone who dresses funny or acts in an unusual way.
That's right. Akaba's teacher has spent quite some time researching these events on the ground. This Kabuki Mono lived in Tatarasuna for a while before disappearing without a trace. And shortly afterwards, as Akaba mentioned, things got pretty ugly.
So first this strange person goes missing, then a murder happens? Seems kind of fishy to Paimon.
Yes, my thoughts exactly. So I helped out too. I asked everyone I could think of if they knew anything about what happened back then. And wow! Did I get lucky!
Stop shouting!
This part's important. I just wanted to make it stand out. It just so happens that a friend of mine works at the Government Records Office. He looked into it for me, and I can now confirm that all the aforementioned individuals did, in fact, live in Inazuma over 400 years ago. Even back then, Tatarasuna was already at the center of Inazuma's smelting industry. The man in charge was a government official named Niwa. Curiously enough, it seems like he went missing too.
Wait, so there are 2 missing people in this story now?
That's right! What's more, Niwa is a name with a lot of history to it. Have you ever heard of the great swordsmith clans of Inazuma?
Oh, the swordsmiths? Yeah, like Ishin art and so on?
Wow, yes. You really know your stuff. That makes things easier. So basically, this Niwa was a distant relative of the Kaidahara clan, the last practitioners of Ishin art. Something then seems to have happened in the Kaidahara clan, leading to their downfall. I don't know the details, but taken in light of everything else going on around that time, it makes you wonder whether it's all connected somehow.
The Kaidahara clan?
Sawada, you left out the biggest detail of all.
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget? Brace your minds, ladies and gents, for they are about to be blown. Or maybe you won't believe your ears. I wouldn't blame you, of course, because in all my years as a writer, this is by far the most.
Get to the point, for Pete's sake.
According to information acquired by Akaba's teacher, the Kabukimono was not a human, but a puppet.
A puppet?
The Shogun puppet that the Electro Archon made should be ruling Inazuma with her as we speak. It couldn't be her. Oh, we already found a Wanderer, so I don't know if it may be him or not. The Kabukimono has to be the Balladeer, but what was he doing 400 years ago in Tatsuna?
Aha! Judging by the
Tatsuya?
looks on your faces, you do know something after all.
No, Paimon just meant, how creepy. The way you described it makes it sound like a ghost story.
I agree, it does. But considering that non-human races in Inazuma are by no means uncommon, spooky events are to be expected. And that's exactly what my book is about. Please, take a look.
Okie dokie. A man arrived in Tatsuna around 3 in the afternoon, afar. He spied laborers walking along the mountain road for the factories, their shoes scuffing along the jutting stones. They walked like people, convinced that so long as they reached the fire raging in the mountain's belly, they might extract from it its gems beyond price. The mood that the sight inspired was ineffable, beyond mere description for those not present to witness it. The man barked a cheerful greeting and sprinted to join the procession. There, a towering character who stood half a head taller greeted him with a heavy slap on the back, and yet his words were filled with respect. "Do my eyes deceive me, sir? Sir Miyazaki. I cannot think that the return trip here from Inazuma City could have been easy on you." Miyazaki smiled like a young man taking the first steps on their own journey. Expression relaxed. "Why, Katsuragi! Inazuma is the realm of the almighty Shogun. I sailed upon the fastest sea, strode upon the swiftest sea routes. What dangers could I have possibly faced?" "What about the good news?" "There was some, naturally." The two burst into uproarious laughter, roughhousing with the other workers until the path's end. A young man dressed in a linen shirt and wearing a headscarf gazed into the dancing flames of the furnace before him. Now the flames of a forge are unlike any other, for their intensity affects the resulting integrity of both metal and blade. So too, then, was the Flame Watcher an unusual individual. At his fingertips sat a lizard, and on his face he wore a smile. The workshop was huge, and the furnace was deeper within. A reasonable person might think that there should have been many working aside the Watcher, yet he stood alone. Only when Katsuragi and Miyazaki strode into the room did the Watcher return. The Watcher was Naiwa, armor officer and administrator of Tatsuna, born of the Naiwa clan, which served as one of the 3 pillars of the Ishin art. Naiwa never argued with his siblings and was a worthy successor by all accounts. The post he received as a result of his high standing with those in power served as a statement unto himself. Mizaki handed a well-bundled text to Naiwa as he adjusted his expression and said, "It is as you have said, sir. The elders of your clan and the city do not think highly of our plan, yet I still believe it will be worth a try. As such, I have found the proper vendors and procured the materials that you requested." Naiwa studied the text and nodded. "We should try some of these new forging techniques. Whether Kadahara says ye or no. Yea or nay." Katsuragi frowned. With a sigh, he said, "Forging is a precise, difficult undertaking. You know this better than most, sirs. And still you seek improvement each day with terrifying drive. Should my lord Nagamaza hear this, the soreness in his face shall be hard to miss." Naiwa smiled, replying, "And how goes the forging of your lord's great blade, Katsuragi?" Katsuragi neither wanted the shame of his master nor lie to his two friends, and yet he could not think of any other way to deflect and was groused. "I see your ears are as keen as your hands, Sir Naiwa. The jokes of us unlearned men are as nothing before you." Mizaki hid his grin upon his hearing this. Naiwa released the lizard from his hand into Katsuragi's palm, but just as more words were to be exchanged, someone came walking nearby, their footsteps light with the celery of youth. The head that peeked in was round, and in the light of the fires looked like an oiled jewel. The young man placed some boxed food on the side and nodded. He prepared to leave. Katsuragi called out after him, "What about you, Share? Aren't you going to eat it?" The young man, upon hearing those words, found himself slightly at a loss after a while. He answered, "Very well, I will try." "You're welcome to the food. We all eat the same fare after all," Naiwa said. The man nodded and left, seemingly deep in thought. I need a drink of water. Extract 2. I can only guess there's probably 3. There's 4? No, there's 3. Okay. But it's much shorter this time. The Kabukimono was by the coast. Sunset fell to the complement of darkness. The bands of twilight showed themselves not, for in their place stood thunderclouds royal, grumbling the omens of a coming rainstorm. Darkness filled the flesh of the sea, and the dusk bade the clouds to kneel upon the land, its supplication marrying the Kabukimono. With knees bent and face pointed toward the waters, none passed that way, and none knew that he was waiting for it in silence. Time passed, unmeasured and uncounted, till a blacking cloud suddenly tore free from the sky and began to circle the Kabukimono, bearing down on him like a nightmare. Though he was not aware at first, after his steadying gaze was refined by time, he understood the cloud had marked him from the very start. Unbound, a fishing boat drew near, the lights of its bow flickering in and out of sight beneath falling sheets of rain. A mist unspooled across the area, stealing sight from the fisherman. Repeatedly he exclaimed, "It is but dusk. How are my eyes darkened? Is there anyone that can deliver my boat upon a safe tide?" Like a falling spear, this black cloud reached the bottom of the boat, and was joined in its barefitness of direction. Like a charging beast, they plunged into the shorelines. Scant steps away, the Kabukimono stood idle, slanting his head to study the ground wreck. Not but half an arm was left on the one who cried out for help, and with a pop it landed at the Kubakemono's feet. He crouched to better study the object, straining against the urge to take a bite out of it. Yet he did not, for the darkness cloud swirling down had already picked the remnants of the ship clean. The Kubakemono stared at it blankly, like an awakening dreamer. Then he returned to himself, and the clouds had scattered as if they were never been there at all. As for the ship, could it have been struck down by a storm? Who was to know? Not the Kubakemono. Extract 3. Katsuragi rushed to the doorway and shouted, "My lord! Things go ill of the furnace! I've searched for Sir Naiwa, but there is no trace of him in such time as passed since Sir Mizaki left to seek aid, but he was yet to send us any missive. Look!" Misoshi Nagamasa turned slowly, his face grave as one attending a funeral. He spoke then, his words heavy laden. "I wish not to say such words, Katsuragi, but Sir Mizaki may never return." Katsuragi peered past Nagamaza's broad, stiff shoulders beyond the windows. The clouds above boiled in waves of black, as if darkness now was the only weather, and might even morph into an abyssal beast devourer Tatsuna whole. Over 10 people had already perished. That was why. Why? Katsuragi recoiled as it stuck. Yes! It was coming back to him now. It was drips and drops. That was why they had to set out and seek aid. Mizaki had been the first to set sail. The clouds had only just begun to form then. Traveling from Tatsuruna to Inazuma to ask for support was normally no great feat, yet there has been no sign of his return. When a second ship was sent, followed by a third and fourth, till the Kubakimono himself, Kabukimono himself had departed upon the tides. Upon foul skies and ominous fortunes, it had been Katsuragi who had brought him back and treated him as his own, and it pained him greatly to see the lad go. Yet the situation in Tatarasuna was severe. Even should they sacrifice more lives, it would have been worth it to gain assistance from Inazuma City. Naiwa was gone, and none could find him. Afterward, Nagamasa led a search party into the mountains in the area around the furnace, all to no avail. Folk began to wonder if Naiwa might have encountered an accident, but worry soon turned to suspicion, and they wondered if he had fled. Unwilling to bear the sin of having caused these incidents, the people grew even more suspicious, and Nagamaza himself strained against the discount in fury. His face had grown to resemble the rumbling clouds above. Suddenly a figure flashed by, their presence did not unnoticed by Nagamaza. He drew his blade and cut through the only nicked the silken veil of the intruder wore. For a moment they swayed, and then, like a marionette pulled by strings, they moved behind Nagamaza, laughing darkly. "Are you seeking someone, my lord?" "Naiwa, perhaps." Nagazama bowed in fury. "You dare address Sir Naiwa directly?" Yet the figure parted like mist before his falling blade, only to rematerialize beyond reach, but not beyond sight. A ghastly apparition indeed. Was it you who slew my people? Nagamasa howled in charge, held back only by Katsuragi's desperate grip. As his senses returned to him, he realized that he was but an inch away from falling into the furnace. It seems that the rest of the work remains unfinished from the existing text. However, it is apparent that this is a novel of fantastical, colorful sensibilities, born from an imagination well utilized.
Oh, and please read my essay draft as well.
I need a drink of water if I'm gonna read this. Reading fast is not my strong suit when saying it out loud. Details. This text belongs to the series of works sponsored by... Yeah, I'm not gonna read that. Author Akuaba. Abstract. The Tatsuna area has always been a major pillar of Inazuma's smithing industry. 2 incidents have occurred here, and the details behind the first are vague at best. I believe, however, that there might be a hidden history behind the events that transpired, hence this paper will attempt to analyze what may have unfolded from available data. Glossary. This paper continues to expand the work of Mentor, hidden body. Strange notes from the area. Their contents are as follows. 1. Perhaps I overstepped, but I think the Sir Nagazama's mood grows better when he forges blades. The obsession to cleanse the stain of a name, Mikoshi, must eat at him. Also, Sir Katsuragi discovered a nameless eccentric while patrolling around Nazuchi Island. 2. The inspector brought a certain number of jade steel ingots. Sir Katsuragi discussed matters of smithing deep into the night with the vice armory officer. 3. We at least made a single nagamaki. We call it the Daitatora Nagamasa. The inspector was in high spirits, and he and vice armory officer Nozomu was so taken by the beauty of the Daitara Nagamasa that he drew a picture of it. And he performed a sword dance with that wandering eccentric. We could not find the eccentric. Or number 4. The inspector flew into a rage and slashed Katsuragi. The great blade cut deep into the flesh, cast his own nagamaki into the furnace flame. Nozomu could not abide by the order and drew the completely melted weapon out of the furnace. He was horribly burned. 5. Nozomu died that night. I dare say that while Sir Katsuragi may have committed malfeasance, it was not out of goodness of his heart. 6. Kinjiro hid the nagamaki and Nozu's drawing in the arsenal. Nagamasa is harsh, but also knows right from wrong, but even so, he is not amiable to reason. His name indicates one obsession with purity. Still, I and some households of the Tatsurasuna have not been blinded by the matter of Nagamasa's mother, Chaoyo, and we must trust him. I also remain unwilling to forget the joy of creating the Daitara Nagamasa with him, and that joy of watching that nameless eccentric perform the sword dance with Katsuragi. 7. Before we withdrew, we should have divided the arsenal key into 3 parts. 1. For the inspector, one for the army officer and one to be left in Tatsuruna itself and prevent theft. But we were in too much of a hurry, and neither inspector nor the armor officer could be found, so bold as to hide the 3 pieces within treasure chests in Tatsurasuna. The 7 notes I mentioned scattered across the area. Among the 7 notes, 6 seemed to be of good physical integrity, though they all look quite old, while the last one was a little more recent. I believe that the first 6 notes and the last are of different time periods, though the gulf in years between them needs to be verified. The contents of the first 6 should also be related to each other, as the indications mentioned are quite consistent with others. I'm gonna let it stay still for a few seconds and then scroll down so whoever's watching this later can just pause and read it. When it's an analysis like this, I do not want to read them. I already have to deal with them when doing assignments that involve records as such. Okay.
Sawada was encouraging me to follow his more creative approach, but I think essays should be grounded in facts. I don't think explaining everything away with mysterious forces will cut it. Oh, how about if I plug the holes in Sawada's narrative with political intrigue? Like, I could put a turf war between rival factions at the center of the whole series of events.
Wait, you're allowed to just make stuff up? Pretty sure you've gone from essay to guessay there.
Akaba, look. Your teacher has researched this extensively. I've reached out to everyone I could think of. Whatever information we have now is all that there is to know. This is as much detail as you're ever going to get. Besides, if there really was a political power struggle going on at anything like the level you seem to be suggesting, what hope would we ever have of finding out the truth?
Good point. Okay, back to the drawing board, I guess. Give me some time. I need to find a new angle on this.
We have some other stuff to do, so we'll have to say goodbye for now. Good luck with your essay!
All right, thank you. If you find out any more info about all this, please do let me know. Thanks so much.
Now we will be busy on somewhere else, because that took way too long.
Hey, so that thing they were talking about, it has to do with the balladeer, doesn't it? Okay, then even if we did know something about it, we probably couldn't share it with them, huh? After all, we kicked his butt and got him locked up. Information about people like that is usually super confidential, isn't it? If you ask Paimon, Akaba should just pick a different topic. There must be as many essay topics as there are trees in the forest. There's no point in...
Wonder! Yes.
Did you see that? He literally just went by, over there. It looked like... the balladeer!
Oh.
No, it can't
He
have
got
been.
a...
He got locked up.
He got his change.
Quick, let's catch up and see.
I mean, we'll be meeting face to face. This time, in different clothings, and a little bit of memory loss.
Squall and Fury.
And we'll get to actually name the Wanderer eventually, if not coming up to this section. I do not have a name for him though, yet.
Paimon, there you are.
Nahida! Bad news. We just saw the balladeer strolling around in public. Did he escape or... Ah! It's him!
Sure enough, you're here.
Hey!
Oh, he hasn't had his...
Doing in the sanctuary of Surasthana! Aren't you supposed to be lacked up?
His wear hasn't changed yet, but it will.
I know you must have a lot of questions. Please, allow me to explain. It was my idea to set the balladeer free. We made a deal, and he's gonna do some investigation in Irminsul for me.
A deal? You sure you trust this guy?
What did you expect? Why do you think Sumeru would keep me around otherwise? Or maybe killing me is all you can think about. But if that's the case, why haven't you done it already?
Don't flatter yourself. It was... Nahida said there's still some mysteries in you to figure out.
Ah, so if it were up to you, you'd finish the job? Guess I had you all wrong. There I was thinking you were just getting cold feet.
Well, that escalated quickly. Not a good start. Could I ask you all to please calm down?
But Paimon's worried about you, Nahida. Don't let him trick you.
It's not every day you see people questioning the God of Wisdom's judgment. Just when you think you've seen it all.
Don't you dare try to drive a wedge between us!
As long as the terms are reasonable, I don't think there's a problem in making a deal. Even with the balladeer.
Well, I for one have no reason to doubt you. Considering you even struck a deal with the doctor.
Yes, one in which I gained valuable information. You'll come to understand more about that in the fullness of time. The balladeer's power was all but completely spent after your battle. He's no longer strong enough to be a strategic threat to us. That puts him in quite a precarious position. Plus, he's a former Harbinger with knowledge of many of the Fatui's sensitive secrets. Being stuck here in Sumeru could make him a sitting duck, depending on how the Fatui plan to respond.
Wait a second. Farmer? You mean, he's not a Harbinger anymore?
I take no pleasure in saying this, but it seems as if the doctor had no intention of welcoming back a loser, so...
Sometimes it's you using them, other times it's them using you. Most human relationships are this way. Certainly all the stable ones are. That's how it was between me and the Fatui, and also between each of the Harbingers. So as long as you have some value to offer, nobody will ever abandon you. But after recent events, even I have to admit that I'm not worth quite what I used to be. Well, if the Fatui are gonna reevaluate my utility, I need to have a backup plan for myself.
As we discussed, I don't like causing harm to living beings, and you said you need protection. So, why not join forces with us?
I think these two have made their objection to that idea fairly clear, don't you? And they're your friends, so I guess you'll be siding with them.
Yeah, obviously! Nahida, don't...
Then let's put that discussion to the side for now. We still have time. Today can be a trial run. Where we go from here will depend on how well we manage to cooperate today.
All right, then I'll do what we agreed.
Good. Go now, and keep in touch.
Nahida, are you serious about this?
Yes. I have my reasons for this decision. In fact, I'm largely doing it for your benefit. Yes. As I told you once before, there's information about your twin in Irminsul.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's the whole reason we came to see you today. So, you have an update on that?
Mm-hmm. You may remember me mentioning that the Fatui had not included your twin's details in the Descender category. This is an extremely important point. It's possible that the Fatui have other information that even I don't know about. And since the balladeer used to be one of them, he'll be better acquainted with this information than I am. He was granted the power to connect with Irminsul when he almost became the god of a new era. Even though he no longer has the Gnosis, some traces of its power remain in him. he can still connect. The amount of information in Irminsul is vast beyond description. Sifting through all of it without knowing what to look for would take too long, even for me. So I asked the Balladeer to search in Irminsul for any information about the Descenders. He's more familiar with this kind of information, and should be able to find it more quickly.
Exactly! Or what if... Paimon just doesn't trust him! He's treated us as enemies every time we've run into him!
I understand. But sometimes, everything is dictated by which side you're on. How things will go in the future depends on what information he brings back. And Traveler, I know what your heart desires most of all. Our minds have connected several times before. There is a corner of your heart reserved for an intense longing. A feeling of being all alone in the dark, searching for the one candle whose light still burns. As Sumeru's deity, it is my responsibility to be on guard against the Balladeer. But as someone who counts you as a friend, I want to do something for you. If this deal with the Balladeer can give you the answers you've been longing to find, then it's worth it. It's my pleasure, really. You're Sumeru's hero. You've more than earned it.
Paimon's still worried about this idea. Is there anything we can do to help?
I was going to contact you about that, but then you suddenly showed up on your own accord. Seems like we have a telepathic connection. In fact, I was going to ask you to supervise the Balladeer on my behalf while he carries out the task I assigned. Even though he only has a fraction of his full power left, that's still a fraction of a former Harbinger. If you could accompany him, it would put my mind at ease. Of course, I'll be there to help guide you through Irminsul from the outside. Great, thank you. Prepare yourselves. I'm going to transport you into Irminsul.
Wow, it looks pretty different here compared to last time. The colors are gentler. Guess that must be because Sumeru's at peace now.
Look at that. Hot on my heels. You know, you didn't have to cut your catch-up short just to keep me company. Oh, but I guess you panicked when you realized that I might enter Irminsul ahead of you.
Shut your beak, Jailbird! No way a prisoner gets to be so smug!
I understand that prisoners have to put up with harassment from the guards, but right now, I'm on temporary release. So maybe you should think about backing off a little.
Sounds like a successful rendezvous. I need to be quite clear about something. In a few moments, you'll be entering into the innermost region of Irminsul. It is an environment like no other, and the most important place in all of Sumeru. Unlike anywhere else, Irminsul's inner region consists exclusively of torrents of information. You must put aside your differences and be extremely careful as you navigate your way through. I know there are many grievances between you, on both sides, but it is essential that you remain calm after entry. This is as much for your own safety as anything else.
Fine, let's call it truce, but only until this mission's over.
Let's cut each other a little slack, shall we? We are going to be traveling together after all. Per my agreement with Lesser Lord Kusanali, I'll be at the front. It's my job to lead the way and get rid of any obstacles in our path. All you have to do is keep your pretty eyes open and try not to fall behind.
Oh, thank you. I do have pretty eyes.
You sure are confident. Paimon will give you that. You make it sound like you're even more experienced at adventuring than us.
If there are no further objections, I suggest we get going. Or did you need some time to mentally prepare yourselves?
Ew! Ugh, the snark on this guy, it's unbearable.
We can start now.
Irminsul access granted. Initiating connection procedure.
Is this a small sapling? Oh, darn it! Come on, let's catch up with him.
I wonder if we're able to travel to Arminsol through that portal more than just out of story.
So this is the inside of Irminsul. Ooh, Paimon's never seen anything like this. And it feels like a sacred place.
Irminsul is closely intertwined with the entirety of Teyvat. Every bit of information flowing here means something. Pick your jaws up off the floor. It's time to go.
Why is it that Paimon just wants to do the opposite of everything he says?
Lesser Lord Kusanali, we will now proceed to the heart of Irminsul.
Can you still sense where the heart of Irminsul is?
Yes. Permission to begin searching for information there?
Permission granted. Go ahead.
Let's go. Stay close. Don't go.
Hey, so say we did go running off in here. What would happen? What are you smirking at?
I was just imagining the look on your travel companion's face if you went and got lost. Anything's possible in here. You can't rule anything out. So if you want to stay safe, your best option is to stick close to me.
These sapling things have spread out.
Those are all packets of information from inside Irminsul. Be careful not to touch them.
It looks the same in every direction. No wonder he mentioned about getting lost. Huh. What do you know? He was actually telling the truth. Is he mocking me again? What is it this time?
There's a time and a place to lie, but this definitely isn't it. So why don't you relax your guard a little?
Oh, so cute.
We're here.
Together.
What a huge tree!
This is the center of Irminsul. All the information in the world is flowing through it.
Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Good, you made it. Are you ready?
Ready when you are.
Then please begin. Preparing to access cognitive currents. Establishing waypoint.
The Balladeer's actually doing what Nahida tells him.
He hasn't put any resistance, and he seems to be good at working on the front line. Maybe he had similar role in the Futui? First, Aquaba and Sao, what his stories. Now this? What a strange individual.
The rest is up to you. If you discover anything at all, make sure to share it with us.
Will do.
Huh. For once, we're the ones with nothing to do.
Traveler, Paimon, would you like to talk?
Nahida, is this a Telepathic conversation?
Yes. I've also invited Paimon to join.
Huh? What the? We can talk to each other inside our heads?
I'm guessing that you don't want us to disturb the Balladeer.
That's part of it. Plus, we're all friends. There's nothing wrong with us talking like this once in a while.
Paimon's never tried this before. This is great! So, Paimon's been wanting to ask you something. Don't you think the Balladeer's a bit of a walking contradiction? He's always talking back, but he seems to listen to what you say.
Yes, and he seems to excel at doing odd jobs for others.
As I've told you before, there are still some mysteries for him to resolve. Things that are clear as day to me, but that he has yet to understand. Perhaps today will be the day that he finds some answers.
Is it about his past? The betrayals? And the other events on Inazuma?
Well done. Smart and attentive as always.
Actually, I caught a glimpse of a few things when I ran into Hypatia at Paradis Dea? Really, what you saw in Balladeer's mind will...
So, you made contact with that part of his mind. Well, it's true. Betrayal turned the Balladeer into the person he is today.
Huh. Paimon thought nothing could get under that guy's skin. Turns out, he can get hurt and angry just like anyone else.
Everyone has a history, Paimon. Even if you're a puppet created by the Electro Archon.
Speaking of puppets, we ran into two people at the Academia today talking about an essay. Turns out their topic was about the Tatara Suna incident. Nahida, do you know anything about that?
Tatara Suna.
If you mean the mysterious events, the Kabuki Mono and so on, yes. I know about all of that.
Really? Because from what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatara Suna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination. At least that's what they thought.
Tell Nahida about the story that they're writing.
How interesting. Those two managed to deduce quite a lot through guesswork alone.
So the Gesse got it right?
Well, they guessed right about one thing. Tatara Suna was sabotaged.
Must be a riveting conversation you three are having. Funny how all the good ones happen when I'm not involved.
What makes you think we're talking to each other?
Don't insult me. You're having a private conversation without me. Obviously, I must be the topic of said conversation. Of course you do. You can't have your prisoner knowing too much.
So, have you found anything yet?
Still looking. Don't get your hopes up, though. You and your twin come from outside this world. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing on either of you in Irminsul at all.
Wait! How did you know about that? Did Nahida tell you?
It's not like we've never met before. And anyway, you're world famous. It'd be more surprising if I didn't know a few things about you.
But your attitude is better than I thought.
Right now, we have to keep the peace. I'm not interested in creating more misery for myself. And making cordial conversation is something I can manage. Huh? Wait.
This light. It looks similar to those saplings. What could it be?
Anonymous data.
Ooh.
Hey, don't you forget the agreement!
Shh. Just wait.
Do we get to see
Mr.
images?
Niwa, are you certain this is worth the risk? We are talking about Tatara Suna's furnace, after all. It may not pay to act rashly.
There's no one else who can enter the furnace. It has to be me.
Is that so? Well, since you insist.
It's...
That name. Naiwa was the man in charge of Karasuna. Plus he belonged to the lineage of Ishan art.
Whoa!
We get more info? Or is that it?
I have been in Tatarasuna for some time now. You have shown me great hospitality, as has Mikoshi Nagamasa, and indeed, everyone else. Under your leadership, Tatarasuna is a warm, welcoming place, like a giant village. People are gainfully employed, their lives have purpose. They are motivated.
I think I know who this is. I think this is the ancestor of Kaya? No. Forgot his name. Our other wind boy with the red streak in his hair.
As I understand, the Raiden Shogun has, in recent years, eliminated much of the evil that plagued Inazuma. As for Tatarasuna, it was originally established as a means of safely disposing crystal marrow. The forging industry with crystal marrow as a raw material has since flourished, giving rise to generations of swordsmiths. Some world-renowned, others unknown, all passing on their legacy. Skills, blood, dreams. Every smith brought into this trade looks to find their purpose between steel and blade. That is why you accepted the proposal brought to you by myself and Akame.
Yes, well, were it not for you coming to Inazuma and happening to make Akame's acquaintance, the two of you never would have joined forces. And he would be the first to admit that there's no way he could have revolutionized our forging process like this on his own. At least not on the same timescale. You allowed Akame to take all the credit for a method that you jointly developed. He sold it to me, and now every piece of ore here is smelted using the new technique. Even now, you remain one of Tatarasuna's key consultants, working right here alongside us. I believe it is you, sir, who are truly responsible for the changes in our manufacturing and forging methods.
You flatter me. From the outset, I saw much that was commendable in the forging industry of Inazuma, and it has been my great honor to befriend you all.
So you say, Escher. But is this really the truth?
My good sir, what do you mean?
I tried to resist thinking it was all connected, because I didn't want to speculate, and I didn't want to believe that things could turn out this way. What have we gained from adopting your new technology? Ominous black smoke? Mounting production problems? Worker fatigue and casualties are up and continuing to rise at an alarming rate. And recently, as you well know, someone died because of that strange filth inside the furnace. We've kept the truth from spreading outside, but still, I suspect you understand it better than I do. None of the people who went out to get help have come back. Now, our mutual friend, the Kabuki Mono, is taking the Golden Feather to Narukami Island to seek an audience with Shogun. This is our last hope. But that doesn't faze you, does it, Escher? Nothing does. Otherwise, why would you still be standing there with that smile on your face?
I'm just surprised that you finally chose to be so sincere. I'm sure you've been harboring these suspicions for quite some time.
Mikoshi Nagamasa may have noticed that there was one common denominator among all these events. Namely you, Escher. But Mr. Mikoshi is more cautious than I. He does things by the book.
After all, Nagamasa is the adopted son of Mikoshi Torachiyo, the yokai struck down by the Shogun's own hand. If he truly seeks to redeem his family's honor, an abundance of caution is well advised.
You're well informed on the subtleties of his situation for a mechanic all the way from Fontaine. Are you sure you're not a little overqualified?
Why, Mr. Niwa, are you suggesting I find a job as a diplomat? Sadly, I am so very attached to my craft.
Enough, Escher. I'm here because an evil force is raging inside the furnace. And someone needs to take your new device inside the high-risk zone so we can absorb it and put an end to the problem. I'm in charge here. And I'm about to take some responsibility and head inside. Probably to my death. But what about you? What are you still doing here?
Judging from the look in your eyes, you don't seem to trust me.
Drop the act. We're past that now. Whoever you are, it looks like your plan to destroy Tatara Suna has worked. I just want to know what you're still doing here. What's left? Don't you have all your answers by now?
Honestly, I'm just waiting for the right moment. A moment like this, where you finish talking and I stop you from entering the furnace.
He was stabbed. Betrayal. All too familiar.
You're a little smarter than I initially gave you credit for. I thought I'd disguised myself exceptionally well, at least for the first few days. But to my surprise, you had your people look into my background right from the start. It's a long journey from Inazuma to Fontaine, but that didn't stop them. Eventually, they managed to confirm that Escher was an alias, and that I was not from Fontaine at all. And yet, despite all of that, you still fail to realize my true identity, and what I seek in Tatara Suna.
Did you really think you would be able to see through my plan?
Is this the doctor?
If you kill me, there's no one who can get inside the furnace. So you're really going to destroy this place? Is that it?
Oh, but you're quite wrong. There is one other person. Some may not see him as a person, but you told him yourself. You're not a puppet. You're a human. You're just missing
so it is the
a
doctor.
heart.
Whoever you're working for won't get away with this. They'll be found out. But this makes no sense.
It's no trouble at all. Patience is a virtue which I have in abundance. This is all part of a carefully controlled experiment. If you must know, I'm happy to divulge my true identity. I'm a Fatui Harbinger. Call me the Doctor.
The Fatui? Who? What do you want?
Just to create a minor inconvenience for your nation.
That's it? That's why you gave us your cursed technology? Just to let loose the evil energy from the crystal marrow?
Look how even the righteous soul is filled with venom when faced with its demise. My device functions precisely as you say. It is the only chance you have of preventing a catastrophe and keeping the truth from the outside world. However, I did not make it with you in mind. It is easier for a person to be possessed by evil spirits when they are filled with hate. So give in to your fury. I want to see what happens when a malevolent heart is placed into an unsuspecting puppet. Make no mistake, even without you, that pure, innocent puppet would only end up being used by someone else instead. What other reason would a human have for befriending one who is not of our kind?
If you give him my heart, tell him that both Nagamasa and I see him as one of us. He has nothing to prove to anyone. Because not everyone just wants to use other people. The only ones who think...
What a beautiful way to see the world. It almost makes me feel a little guilty. Then out of respect for you, I shall redefine myself. Think of me as a monster or a demon, if you wish. At least this way your death is not a consequence of your own folly turning you into an easy target. You simply lost to something more powerful than you could ever hope to defeat. I say, Mr. Niwa, let's see what happens. Will your puppet friend become a human? No, that will prove quite impossible. Mr. Niwa? Already dead. What a pity. Jester, I have completed the task you gave me. Creating a gap and infiltrating Inazuma's inner workings. What fun it was. I'd like to introduce a puppet to you. If he proves useful, let's make him our newest comrade. And if not, let's turn him to dust.
The true origins of Scaramouche. Oh. You fatally
are you
saddened.
Dottore. Dottore!
Oh my gosh, he's laughing. Ah, it's so cute.
Good.
Was that the doctor? Did he turn into a mechanic from Fontaine? But why did we see things from his perspective?
When I touched the doctor to confirm whether he'd eliminated all his segments, I read this memory in his mind. You have to admit, it must be the truth.
Maybe so, but it means nothing.
Does it? But this memory shows that Niwa didn't betray you. He never meant for you to be the one to take the device into the furnace. You know very well what that means. Even more so than I.
This betrayal was a lie that he has believed for hundreds of years. Was this part of the doctor's experiment? If the betrayal never happened, it existed only in his imagination. But where does this leave him?
Let's give him some space. He looks really mad. Paimon doesn't want to be anywhere near him right now.
We need to give him some time to process his emotions.
Paimon's still confused about the Tatarasuna incident. So, the doctor was behind it, but why has that gotten him so worked up?
Nobody has ever deceived you like that, Paimon. It's natural that you find it difficult to understand. Perhaps he needed to learn this someday. So now you have the complete picture. Katsuragi took the Kabuki Mono to live with the people of Tatarasuna. Later, the doctor showed up, disguised as a mechanic from Fontaine. And that's when the trouble began. It was all a horrific experiment planned by the doctor. Everything he did was just to plant seeds of disaster in Inazuma that would bear fruit in the future. Of all the unwitting participants in the doctor's experiment, the balladeer became the main test subject. After the events you just saw in that memory, the doctor put Niwa's heart into the device and handed it to the balladeer. Then, he instructed him to enter the furnace and absorb all the filth caused by the smelting process. The load was far beyond what he expected, but the balladeer survived. He left the furnace in sheer exhaustion and said to the mechanic, "This device seems to have protected me. What's in it?" The mechanic answered, "Niwa fled this place for fear of punishment, but he left you a gift. He said it's the one thing that you've been looking for." He took it straight from the chest of one of his innocent servants. The mechanic removed the withered heart from the device as he spoke. The balladeer was stunned that such unthinkable cruelty had brought him the thing he'd been longing for his entire life. A heart acquired through cold-blooded murder is a cursed thing, but it had protected him from the filth. He thought Niwa had completely betrayed him, and yet this very betrayal had ensured his survival. Overwhelmed with anger and sorrow, the balladeer threw the heart to the ground and left Tatarasuna without looking back.
Holy moly. So the doctor killed an innocent man and pinned everything on the victim? That's terrible.
Being betrayed and abandoned by a friend is sure to cause great resentment. Now we know what was behind his decision to take revenge on the Raiden Gakuden 100 years ago. But it doesn't mean that the vengeance was the right decision.
Yes. Only if he understands this can he choose a new path forward.
Ooh.
Totoro, you brazen-faced... Niwa didn't run from justice. You killed him.
Shall we see how he's doing? Hey, you alright? That's a scary expression.
He's being all smug now that he's processed the information.
Are you worried about me? If we didn't have such a history, I'd almost think that qualifies me to be your friend. It won't. I'll keep my end of the deal.
Hey, are you investigating the stuff we want to know about?
That's why we're here. But unfortunately, there's no information about the Descenders in Irminsul.
Even if you can't find anything, that seems to confirm it. Irminsul does not keep records on the Descenders. Anyone who comes from beyond this world is not counted as part of Teyvat.
Oh, does that mean we have to leave empty-handed?
Don't thank me just yet. You look really upset. Well, since Irminsul was a dead end, I guess I can share some other info that might interest you.
Huh? About what?
The reason why there are records about your sister in Irminsul. It might have something to do with Conria. Apparently, Conria was her first destination when she arrived in this world. Plus, she only came to this world because the heavens responded to the summoning.
The heavens responded?
The Jester told me this himself. You can take his word on this. He was a royal mage in Conria, and lived with your sister for a time. I don't know the details. It's up to you whether you want to believe me. All I can say is, I wouldn't lie to you about this. Did you get all that, Lesser Lord Kusanali?
Yes. Astonishing news.
Does this info count towards my mission? It wasn't from Irminsul, but was it valuable?
Very valuable.
Look at that smile.
Good. In that case, I'll take some time for myself now.
He needs to go process some more.
Huh? What have you done?
Lesser Lord Kusanali was right. My power's all but completely spent. Even if I use all of the divine power left in me, I can't sustain this shield for very long.
Oh, he wants to talk to us.
I shared a secret with you, and now you owe me. So in return, I'd like you to answer a question for me.
What do you want to know?
Give me your hand.
Aw, yeah, boy. We get to...
Can you hear my voice inside your head?
Are you trying to brainwash me?
No, I can't do anything like that anymore. At most, all I can do is exchange a few words with you. So tell me, in this world, is it possible to change the past?
Why? Wait, why would you ask that?
Done.
Huh? What the? What happened? Paimon only only saw you hold hands for a second.
I know, right? We got to hold hands.
Nothing. I was just thanking him for helping me.
Wait, that look. Did you see me hesitate? But that was because I know about Greater Lord... Yes, I do know about Greater Lord Rakudavada. Oh,
So long.
Oh, no!
I suggest you get yourselves out of here quickly.
I'll have to come back and read this.
Where are you going? Hey, wait up! Didn't you say not to go running off?
Fast reaction time. But I don't think we'll be seeing each other again.
Well, not for some time, maybe.
From this day forth, the names Balladeer and Kabukimono will cease to exist.
Oh, he was also known as
Those who
Kabukimono.
died in Tatarasuna because of me deserve another chance at life.
Hey, Balladeer! Don't do anything stupid!
You know, I never did like insects. Hordes of the puny things swarming together can be a real nuisance. And I enjoy nothing more than to stamp them out like the pests they are. But if a colony of harmless ants isn't threatening anyone, I guess they deserve to be left alone. Luckily, everything can be set right. It's time to solve this once and for all.
Balladeer! Balladeer! Uh-oh, he disappeared. Come on, we gotta find him somehow.
I do believe he did some stuff trying to deal with time. I don't know why you're not going to the tree.
Really gone.
Oh, can you hear me?
Nahida!
Traveler, Paimon, Balladeer, what happened just now? I was suddenly cut off by some kind of power.
It was the Balladeer's fault. He shut you out.
Telling Nahida?
I didn't think he'd be capable of something like that with so little power left. Did he keep some of his power hidden when he was defeated? Or did he achieve something beyond his abilities, and it took everything he had?
Where the heck did he go? Ugh, it's all our fault. We were supposed to keep an eye on him. Sorry, Nahida.
Don't be. It's not your fault. Please, let me handle this from here, even though I'm not sure I can solve it. We're running out of time. Follow my lead and get out of Irminsul as soon as possible.
Okay, now we need to leave. Where to, then? Ooh. Oh, we're just leaving like that. I thought we had to choose which ley lines to leave through. I guess not. I mean, we will meet again, Balladeer, or now called Wander. But it shall be somewhere else. Still, what did my sister do in Conria? Why do we end up always here? Hold up. I doubt we finished it. Dream of Awakening. Oh, this one. Is that... Yeah, it should be that one. Let's go start that, and then we'll start the main quest again.
Sorry to interrupt, everyone. We finally have some real dream experts joining us. Esteemed experts, this way, please. Ahem. Now, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask them.
They must be dream experts from another land. Great!
Oh, I have a question. Me first! Me first!
No rush. Everyone, please line up and ask in an orderly fashion.
Whoa. Paimon didn't expect them to be so enthusiastic.
My question is simple. My everyday life is very difficult, so I would like to become a slime in my dreams. How can I do that?
Oh, Paimon knows! Paimon's had this kind of dream before, so she knows a thing or two. The first time, Paimon became an animal slime. Paimon was shot by an adventurer's arrow and flew in the sky all night long. The second time, Paimon became a dendro slime. A group of kids thought Paimon was a radish and pulled out all the grass on her head. Oh, it was super painful. The third time, Paimon became a cryo slime. In the end, Paimon was captured. And the fourth time, Paimon became a powerful geo slime and went to take revenge on the forest boar that used to bully Paimon. But then the boar showed up with all of its relatives and Paimon lost again.
Wait, why did all of your dreams end so tragically?
Because slimes are monsters, even though they look cute, they usually cause trouble and end up getting killed by adventurers. Things don't tend to end well for monsters. Believe Paimon.
I suppose you're right. They are monsters, after all. I just want to experience a different life, but it seems that becoming a monster would be even worse than my current life. Maybe I'd be happier if I became just a regular finch. Or fish.
Looks like being an expert is way easier than Paimon imagined. Next!
Oh, it's my turn. Esteemed expert, I want to know what posture I should sleep in so I can have the same dream as the one I had last night.
Well? Hey, you're supposed to be helping. First, why don't you tell Paimon about the dream you want to have again?
Oh, it's quite ordinary. I sat and chatted with my wife on a sunny day, listening to the breeze blowing through the valley.
Why don't you just find your wife and talk with her? There's no need to wait for a dream.
Well, unfortunately, she passed away.
Oh, sorry. Paimon shouldn't have assumed anything.
No, it's fine. I didn't make that clear. I just want a chance to see her again.
Yeah, it's not really about posture. What you think about right before falling asleep is probably way more important.
Oh, is that all I have to do?
Think about it. If you're the one thinking about her, and you're the one that'll be dreaming about her, then it'll be easier to connect your thoughts and dreams.
You do have a point. I'll give it a try tonight. Thanks for your wise advice.
Oh, my turn. I want to bring the souvenir box to my room into my dream.
I dreamt of a raven flying over the wasteland last night. Does that have any kind of special meaning?
Hey, no rush! One at a time! Their questions were way too difficult. We don't actually know anything more than they do. We're just more experienced dreamers, that's all. You do have a point. It's more rewarding to explore and contemplate the meaning of a question than to focus on the answer itself. Right now, these people are like wanderers who've starved for 3 days and 3 nights and are desperate to replenish their energy. Any explanation they get now is like pure sustenance to them, no matter how good the explanation really is. Oh, and now that Paimon has said that, you know who comes to mind? Bingo! If she was here, she'd probably be making some similar analogy. Unfortunately, she's super busy right now and may not have time for gatherings like this.
Dear experts, we have another guest who would like to consult you.
But you saw how we answered all the questions just now. We're not really all that knowledgeable.
Ah, but this guest is rather special.
My question is, why didn't you immediately tell me about such an interesting place?
Oh.
Huh? Nahida? How did you get here?
Interesting events like a moment of dreams don't happen every day after all. No matter how busy things are, I'd still set aside some time to check it out. Anyway, I really didn't expect to meet you here.
Oh, right! If there's anyone that understands dreams, it's you! You should be able to help us answer all these questions.
You're not wrong. Alright, they can ask me anything. The more interesting, the better. Huh? What's wrong? You were all so excited a minute ago. Why the sudden hesitation? Even so, it's not like I look super intimidating or anything, right? And in terms of reputation and renown, you've also done many great things in Sumeru, yet they didn't even flinch at you. Alas, the interesting questions have all vanished in an instant. It appears I'm the one spoiling the fun here. I'll see myself out.
That's not true, Nahida.
I don't want to get in the way of the original purpose of a moment of dreams, which is to let people gather here and freely share their marvelous dreams. Now the atmosphere here is like water poured into a container. The water is more secure and settled, but it has lost its free-flowing nature from the river. I just want it to be another drop in the water, not the cold and restrictive container.
She's sulking. Hey! It's alright, everyone! No need to be shy. The Dendro Archon is really nice, so please just go ahead and ask. Otherwise, she'll leave.
All right. I'll give it a try.
Oh, it's the slime guy.
Hey, drop the nicknames, would you? Besides, I don't want to become a slime anymore. Maybe a finch or fish is more suitable for me.
I see. So you want to become a small animal in your dreams, right? Why do you think that sounds good to you?
I guess I just want to experience something different. My everyday life is nothing but the same. The sky is right above me, and the ocean just over the horizon, yet I remain caged in a life of monotony.
So you want to experience something new in your dreams? Sorry, I'm getting a little confused. Why don't you seek out some new experiences in real life?
Because if I don't work, I won't have any Mora. Sure, I don't want to be out hammering nails and cutting wood every day, but I have aging parents and young children to take care of. By the time this all dawned on me, I realized that my life has already been filled to the brim by trifling matters, and I have no more freedom.
But if that's the case, then even if you became a flying bird or swimming fish, you will still be hammering nails and cutting wood in your dreams. The reason is you've already been caged. It doesn't matter what your physical body turns into. Your mind will still be stuck in the same predicament.
Really? That sounds pretty terrible. Then what should I do?
I don't know everything that you're going through, but how about replacing your hammer?
Huh? Replacing my hammer?
That's right. Having worked for such a long time, you of all people must know what makes a good hammer.
Well, of course. A good hammer needs to be heavy enough to drive the nail in with just a couple taps, and the handle has to have a good grip to it, not too smooth. Come to think of it, I haven't replaced my current hammer in quite some time.
You should replace it. Then decorate the handle with something you like. Maybe some ornaments, fur, or hard leather wrapping. Then, write the names of your children on it.
That makes sense. I think it'd give me a good boost of energy at work.
A new sense of adventure often begins with the little things in life. You don't need to become a bird in the air or a fish in the sea. You only need to do your best in life, and all those things you cherish will become your source of happiness.
Yes. Yes, I get it now. This is a real eye-opener for me. I'll go and pick out a new hammer right away. No, I should make one of my own. Thank you, Great Dendro Archon.
That's our Nahida. Only you would know how to get right to the heart of the problem.
Actually, I didn't really understand the problem. Huh? I gave him that advice because I once saw a worker doing the same thing. Whenever he became tired, he would look at some names on the handle of his tool. After a moment, he'd start to smile. It really surprised me at the time. My guess is that the names on the handle were of important people to him. After observation, I know this kind of behavior motivates people. But why is that? Is it because of excitement, anticipation, or helplessness? I really don't know. And even if I could know what's going through his mind, it's still difficult to fully grasp his feelings.
Oh, Paimon gets what you mean. Huh. Paimon had no idea it takes you so much effort to understand these kinds of things.
That's why I was a bit nervous just now. But luckily, seeing his happy face in the end reassured me that I didn't say anything wrong. Don't mind me, though. This is just my way of learning.
Hey, don't forget about Paimon! Everyone knows that Paimon's also super skilled at reading people's feelings.
Thanks, you two. That makes me feel a lot better. Let's move on to the next question, shall we?
I already asked the experts my question earlier, but I wanted to hear the Dendro Archon's response too. What should I do if I want to see my deceased wife in my dreams every night?
Longing for the deceased. Even if you keep reliving those beautiful memories, it will only highlight the emptiness in your real life. If your wife were still alive, she certainly wouldn't want to see you like this, would she?
No, I suppose not. But our time together in my dreams is not just reliving our past together. I don't know. Maybe it's because I miss her too much. But it's really as if she had come back to life in my dreams. She even remembers each and every dream. After I wake up and then continue dreaming again later, we can pick up our conversation right where we last left off.
That's really amazing. Statistically speaking, continuous dreams are extremely rare.
It's almost as if my wife has obtained a second life in my dreams. But the more vivid she appears, the emptier I feel, and the more painful it is when I wake up. I don't know whether to call it a blessing or a curse.
Maybe all of this is rooted in your deep longing for her. Were there any unresolved matters or regrets between the two of you?
I don't know. I suppose my biggest regret is that I couldn't spend the rest of my life with her. I really felt like I was ready to move on. I wouldn't be so hesitant now if it weren't for these hyper-realistic dreams I've been having.
Huh. You know, they say that whatever's on your mind is what goes into your dreams.
But dreams are, and will forever be, just dreams. We are people living in the real world. It's not good to be overly obsessed with dreams. All it'll do is fill up your mind and eat away at your thoughts.
Yes, I know. That's why I'm also a little disappointed in myself. I still need to take care of our child. And it's probably not good to let her see me in such a state. Anyway, thanks for your advice, Great Dendro Archon.
I'm a little worried about him. I hope he can find a way to cheer up soon. I think I can handle things from here. You don't need to stay here if you find it boring. You're here to have a good time, after all.
Are you feeling any better now?
Yes. I think the Dendro Archon made a really good point. I need to stop dwelling on my wife like this and move on with my life. Now that I think about it, my wife and I always meet at a familiar place in my dreams. I know where that place exists in reality, but it's a bit far and dangerous. I don't dare to go there on my own. But at the same time, I feel as if I should go and have a look anyway. Perhaps I'll be able to move on once I see that there's nothing there. Otherwise, I'll keep on feeling like everything is covered in a haze. Like I'm only half awake. Once I can stop dreaming about that place, I'll probably be able to get my life back together. Actually, you two are adventurers, right? If it's okay with you, could you escort me to that place?
Yeah, it might also be a good chance for us to unwind. Even if you can't see your wife there, taking in some nice scenery will definitely help cheer you up.
Yeah, I hope so too.
All right, go ahead and get yourself ready then.
Naida should at least know that she once existed in this world.
Are you headed off to some interesting place without telling me again?
Huh? Wait, aren't you supposed to be answering questions?
I just finished, and I really got a lot out of it. So many interesting and novel thoughts. Anyway, it looks like you're going somewhere. Why don't you take me with you?
Oh, there's no need to trouble you, Great Dendro Archon. I imagine you must have many other important things to deal with.
No need to stand on ceremony. Besides, I wouldn't have asked to come along if I didn't have a good reason. I wanted to use this opportunity to discuss with you some things that are puzzling me right now.
Huh. I didn't know the Great Dendro Archon could become puzzled too.
I'm not all that different from you, you know. Alright, let's go. We can talk on the way.
I'd better go with her. The whole Greater Lord Gravada thing will take some explaining. Now we can continue with the main quest. And may or may not on my own time, continue to heed his story. That or I'll hate them.
This is an emergency. I'll have to ask you to stay here for now. Everything's arranged, and nobody will disturb you. I'm sorry, but this isn't something I need your help with. Leave this one to me.
An emergency? How bad is it? Nahida, will you be okay?
Don't worry. If my assessment is correct, though there may be some minor disturbances, it won't lead to a disaster. Please rest and recover your strength here until I say it's safe.
Her voice has gone. Paimon can't shake the feeling that something really big has happened. What do you think the Balladeer meant? And why did he suddenly grab onto you before?
Paimon doesn't remember Greater Lord Rugravada. The Balladeer's question was a strange one. It's hard to explain it in full, and the truth might be very distressing for Paimon. I'll skip to the part about Greater Lord Rugravada for now, and focus on the Balladeer. What you may be planning.
He wants to change the past? But surely that's impossible! Right! You can't just rewrite history! All that stuff happened already in real life! It's like, imagine Paimon drank all the water in this inn. Even if no one was there to see it, Paimon would sure as heck remember drinking it. So, why does Paimon still have a bad feeling about this? Paimon can't help but feel scared about what he might do. Oh, Paimon's so confused. Huh? Ah! Sorry, Paimon accidentally... It's the Balladeer's fault for causing Paimon all this mental stress.
That's gonna time rewind. Somehow. We're back to timey-wimey stuff.
But erasing yourself from history? It's unthinkable. Is that really possible in Irminsul? Uh-oh. Paimon's head is overheating from trying to understand what he's up to. And it's still not working. Ugh. Paimon's had it with that little brat. He's been nothing but trouble ever since we met him. There's no way he'll actually succeed, right? Otherwise, won't everyone who's connected to him be affected too?
Indeed, if the Balladeer does erase himself from Irminsul, many people in Inazuma will be affected. I can't imagine what the situation would look like. Worst case scenario, it will affect everyone with a connection to the Raiden Gakuden, Kazuha Ayato. Will this mean that they'll disappear?
There's nothing we can do about it at this point. Hey, have you got any ideas on what we should do next? Seems like now there's nothing left for us to do but to go to sleep. But Paimon's still so worried. Paimon won't be able to sleep a wink tonight.
Me neither.
So, how about, we list all our favorite foods to take our mind off things? Heck, if that doesn't work, Paimon's probably gonna collapse of anxiety here. Alright, Paimon will start. First dish. Munstack grilled fish. Oh, and chicken mushroom skewers. Tea break pancakes. Cream stew. Sauteed matsutake. And Dragon chili chicken. Almond tofu. Satisfying salad. Also, Adeptus Temptation. Golden shrimp balls. Triple layered consomme. Lotus seed and bird egg soup. And...
Paimon, you passed out. Something happened. It's still broken. Don't tell me we're doing a timey-wimey thing with Paimon this time. Paimon, what's wrong?
What do we... What was Paimon supposed to be doing just now? Paimon was, talking? Huh. Paimon suddenly can't remember what she was talking about. What was it again?
Started listing foods?
The Balladeer? Is that a food too? Huh. Weird name, though.
Oh dear. That's not his name anymore. Paimon doesn't remember the Balladeer. That must mean he actually pulled it off. But how did he have the ability? This doesn't make sense.
What's wrong? Your eyes are like saucers. Was it something Paimon said? So, the Balladeer. Is that someone's name? 'Cause it sounds like a nickname or something.
If this is really happening, I need to know what else has changed. Paimon, come with me.
Okay, sure. Where are we going?
I'm going to go back to Inazuma.
Huh? Fine by Paimon, but is everything okay? You're acting like this is an emergency.
Now's not the time to explain. So we gotta go! Here I am as the Wanderer. Oh. Let's see how things will change here in Inazuma.
The wind rises.
Here we go. Some more time related.
Ah, it's been a while.
Pardon me, I'd like to ask a question if I may.
Of course. Go ahead.
About the Raiden
Oh.
guy.
Now there's a question I wasn't expecting. Very well. I'll tell you what I know once more. The once renowned Raiden Gokuden, comprised of 5 branches. Amenoma, Futsu, Ishin, Hyakume, and Senju. The art of forging practiced by these 5 clans was first taught to them personally by the almighty Shogun. Over time, the 5 branches diverged from one another as generations of bladesmiths honed and perfected their craft until they became 5 distinct traditions. Most of the great swordsmith clans of old have since fallen into decline, and for a long time, only the Amenoma branch kept its art alive. But fortunately, Kaedehara Kazuha recently returned to Inazuma and took up the mantle of the Ishin art. Now,
Kazuha.
2 clans remain of the original Gokuden 5.
Oh dear.
If my memory serves me right, you yourself were present when he forged the Ishin blade.
Oh yeah, we were! Paimon remembers that now. We learned a bit about the decline of the Raiden Gokuden then too. It seems like such a shame.
That, my friends, is a tragic tale indeed. In fact, this was not made known to me for most of my life. All these years, I knew of those great clans' demise, but never the cause. Only recently, when the question was on my mind, did I ask Kaedehara Kazuha about this. He told me that, as we are both heirs to a branch of the Raiden Gokuden, it was right that I should know the truth. There is no harm in telling you, but I must warn you. It is a dark and sorrowful tale. The Raiden Gokuden were the targets of a murderous rampage. by a vengeful bladesmith.
Vengeful? Why?
400 years ago, so I'm told, there was a catastrophic malfunction in Tatarasuna's furnace. One brave swordsmith heard the commotion and chose not to flee, but he rushed to the scene, hoping to prevent a disaster. Tatarasuna was home to a state-of-the-art forging and smelting operation in that day, and overseeing it was the armory officer. His surname was Niwa, though he had family ties to the Kaedehara clan. Knowing that they had just one chance to save countless lives, Mr. Niwa and the swordsmith leaped together into the furnace. The furnace quickly stabilized, but neither of them made it out. The smith's death, though heroic, dealt a devastating blow to his family's fortunes. His orphaned son was left to fend for himself, and grew up deeply resentful at the world. In his heart, the whole of Inazuma was culpable in his tragedy. He hated the almighty shogun for her apparent indifference towards his father's death, and he hated everyone who had done nothing to try and save him. Powerless and destitute, the only legacy he had to pass on to his children was his hatred. Generation after generation bore this grudge, living in utter misery. Alas, if only the story could have ended there. But 100 years ago, the then head of this family reached the end of his wits. He could bear their fate no longer, and yet he could do nothing to change it. Finally, he made a drastic decision to take revenge on the Raiden Gokuden. In doing so, he sought to vent his pent-up anger and shake the very foundations of Inazuma's forging industry. In his fury, he murdered indiscriminately, killing even bladesmiths from the Hyakume clan which he belonged to. His goal was absolute, the devastation of all of the Raiden Gokuden. But when he came to the Kaedehara and Kamisato clans, his killing spree came to an abrupt end. He failed to catch them unawares. They fought back fiercely, and they did not spare his life. That is why the Kaedehara clan and their Ishin art survived that day. I suppose they were the lucky ones, under the dire circumstances.
The legend of the Raiden Gokuden has changed. Someone else attacked the swordsmiths. It looks like the balladeer did something in Irminsul, but it seems Naiwa still died.
Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Have you seen Kazuha recently?
Kazuha? Why, yes. Just yesterday, in fact. We spoke for a while over some tea. He seemed well.
Phew, he still exists. And he's the same Kazuha I know. Things don't seem as bad as I feared last night. That's all. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Don't tell Paimon. There are other places you want to visit too, right? Your expression says it all. You can't hide anything from Paimon. On to the next stop. Lead the way, traveler. Paimon will be right behind you.
Okay. Are we gonna... Yep, we're gonna head over here.
This is the Yashiro Commission's headquarters, so...
Traveler, it's been a while. If you're looking for the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I'm afraid your timing is unfortunate. They're not here right now.
Are they out on business?
The Commissioner is out on business, and Miss Kamisato is standing in for some meetings in the Commissioner's place. If it's urgent, you're welcome to wait inside until they get back.
What do you think? Shall we go in?
If it were anyone else, I couldn't allow it. But seeing as you're so close with the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I think it should be okay.
We'll be heading in then. Thanks!
Hello, dears. Is there something you want to say? Of course, traveler. Yes, I know who you are. Miss Kamisato has told me about you. What would you like to know? Oh, they're both very well indeed. Lately, Miss Kamisato has been rather busy attending all kinds of meetings and occasionally paying visits to some local organizations on the Commissioner's behalf. As for the Commissioner himself, well, you know, busy as ever. That much hasn't changed. Although he does seem to be in a rather good mood these days.
So pretty much business as usual on the Yashiro Commission, huh?
Very much so.
As I can see, nothing's changed in the Yashiro Commission either. As I was expecting as much, but it's still a big relief to know the Kamisato siblings are both safe and well.
Well, got any more questions?
You're very welcome. In fact, I would love nothing more than for you to come and visit more often. But I'm sure you must be far too busy to have time for that. Miss Kamisato talks about you all the time. She seems so thrilled to have you as a friend, and she's always saying how talented you are and how much she admires you. I must say, many things in Inazuma seem to have taken a turn for the better since you arrived here. So you're not just Miss Kamisato's knight in shining armor, you know. You're a hero to us all. I mean it. Whenever the Commissioner dines at home, Toma always joins him. I always find myself at my most relaxed when I'm serving the two of them and listening to them chat away. The Commissioner has such a busy schedule that he doesn't always have the chance to take his meals at home. But given the opportunity, he always prefers to dine here. They say it's because Toma's a much better chef than most. Oh, the Commissioner is so fond of home comforts. They get to talking about you sometimes, too, you know. Always with a very fond tone. The way one would talk about dear old friends around whom one can truly be themselves. Miss Kamisato occasionally joins them as well. Whenever the whole family gets together and they start talking about people they've met and experiences they've had, you always get a mention. It's been many years now since the late Mr. and Mrs. Kamisato passed away. As someone who is old and gray enough to have watched their son and daughter grow up, it makes me so happy to see them meet a dependable friend whose company they enjoy so much. So, in the future, if you ever do have the time, please know you are always very welcome at the Yashiro Commission headquarters. There will always be at least one old lady who would be delighted to have the pleasure of your company. Wonderful. Thank you.
Paimon likes it here too. Also, you were saying something about the food here being really great. Paimon's itching to try it. We may just have to invite ourselves around for dinner sometime. Paimon meant we should come pay a visit again real soon. Ideally around dinner time.
Of course. You're always welcome.
Alright, goodbye for now. Where are we going next? Great! Goodbye, ma'am! Don't worry, we'll see ourselves out.
All right, then.
Oh, are you two leaving already?
Yep, everything's taken care of now. Don't worry.
Very well. Safe travels. Goodbye.
Xavier is busy completing the Tatara tales. Process is everything. This one. Oh, this place. I see now. It's the odd place with condensed electro elements. Finally, at long last, it is done. Fortunately, I remember these specifications. Going to purify the target energy, then? Well, as much as I would love to get in there and wrap this up, we must not act so rashly. Moreover, some of the required materials I simply could not find, so I had to make do with some last-minute substitutions. The result being that the reliability of this device is somewhat... well, let me just say in some circumstances it may not achieve the desired efficiency. It can be used normally just fine, yes, but I doubt it can withstand any accidents. The slightest jolt will likely knock some of the components out of place. As such, we will still require a little more preparation before we can put our new friend here to work. I'd like you to go near the Mikage furnace and record some data for me. Thank you very much. I'll be waiting for you here. So, it needs me to take a photo. I know I might be electrocuted, so...
Squall Fury!
I'm just gonna deal with the damage for now. Do I need to take a picture from below? Okay.
The wind rises.
I love how technically it's covered, so it doesn't actually work.
The insolent shall
Quit following me.
Mercy!
There we go. Once this electricity is gone, I'll be able to walk through there without worrying about my health. declining so quickly. Scared at the situation. Great, let me see. We're in luck. It seems the Mikage furnace is quite stable and the energy within it is not yet oversaturated. At this rate of concentration, my device will still hold out. Do we need to purify all the energy? If this device could do that, why would I have applied for a patent long ago? But our fine friend here can only decrease the energy level in a localized area. However, the reason for the deactivation of the furnace and the failure of even its auto restart program is the high saturation of Tatarigami energy. As long as we find the area with the highest concentration purified, it should be able to reset the core. At that point, the furnace should restart, and beyond that point, any further issues will not be our concern. That's the plan, but before we execute it, I still need a few final preparations to make.
Squall and Fury.
Hit.
How amusing. Behold! Take it and have fun.
Rest and rebuild.
Squall and Fury.
Well, here we are. But what are we looking for? Something or someone?
Do my eyes deceive me, or is that the
Figure.
Traveler and Paimon?
Xavier, what are you doing here?
I was in the general area, and now I'm in this specific area. There, that's me. So what about you two?
We have some questions and thought you might be able to help.
Certainly do. I've researched the furnace here in some depth. If there's anything you want to know, just ask away. Like the back of my hand. Make no mistake, I have been here a good many times before. Not only that, but I've met people in Inazuma whose families used to live in Tatarasuna years ago. They said it's all true, the history here. Oh, well, it's a long story, don't you know? The tale of Tatarasuna starts a long time. I'm told that its history is one of the most foremost forging and smelting operations in the nation. Goes back around 1,000 years. Still, the furnace has had a couple of serious maintenance issues along the way.
A couple? When exactly?
One was just in the last few years, the other was several hundred years ago. A fun fact, I'm not the first Fontaine tech guy to come and work on it either. There was a guy back then, too. They say he was a mechanic who consulted on a technology upgrade. It seems like the technological collaboration between our two nations goes back a long way. How about that?
Mechanic, huh? Looks like the doctor still sabotaged the furnace, leading to all the ensuing chaos.
Hey, weren't you gonna ask Xavier something about Tatarasuna? Come on, ask already.
Oh, I didn't realize you two were here for a history lesson.
neither. Paimon doesn't know what's gotten into this one today. Feels like we've been preparing for a history exam or something.
What brought this on? Did you just wake up today with a sudden burning desire for historical knowledge? Sure, go ahead.
Have you ever heard of Kabuki Mono connected to Tatsumi?
A kabuki mono? No, I can't say that I have. I do know the word, Inazuman, for those eccentric types who always go around dressed to the nines. Just the sort of person that I'd like to meet, actually. But sadly, I've never had the pleasure, nor have I come across anything to do with a kabuki mono where Tatara Suna is concerned.
So there's no more Kabuki Mono. Did the balladeer really manage to erase himself from history completely? If so, he must have wanted to change the world and revert everything back to the way it was. But so far, it looks like the majority of changes have only affected himself. Thank you, Xavier.
Of course! Don't mention it.
Xavier.
Oh, we're leaving? Okay, bye, Xavier.
Oh, you're most welcome. More than happy to help. Farewell.
Looks like you got all the information you're looking for. Sure, but what's up with you today? Whatever it is, it seems like it's really troubling you. Keep your smile, Spinal Crocodile. No matter what happens, Paimon will always be there for you. Hey, don't mention it. Alright, let's head off and go meet Nahida.
Quit following me. Flicker.
How bold.
Allow me.
Here you are.
Too slow. How amusing.
So I'm going to take this moment to go to the restroom and then we'll continue with the story.
Relax. You think I've got a sharp tongue? I just tell it like it is. If someone can't handle it, maybe that's their problem. Relax. There's no such thing as pure freedom in this world. Even the wind cannot blow on forever. Relax. You think I've got a sharp tongue? I just tell it like it is. If someone can't handle it, maybe that's their problem. Relax. There's no such thing as pure freedom in this world. Even the wind cannot blow on forever. Relax.
I am back, and I am sure you probably had to hear Wanderer's voice. Repeated lines. But we're back to the main story.
Hey, it's them!
Akaba! Sawada! You're still here?
Indeed we are. If you have a moment, we'd love for you to join us once more.
We have time. What do you want to talk to us about?
It's the same topic we discussed last time. Obviously.
Still looking for more info about Tatara Suna, huh? Should we join them?
Perfect. These two have researched Tatsuna's past. Let's hear what they have to say.
Unfortunately, we haven't made any real progress. Huh? Oh, of course.
Let's see if there has been any changes. This is gonna take forever, so I'm not gonna read it all. And whoever is watching can just pause it and read the lengthy parts. A great many of these rumors revolved around yokai, who are so very characteristic of the Inazuma folks' histories, a very small portion.
I presume you'll want to read mine as well. Here.
Same here. I'm not gonna read over it since I already read it. Possibly only the yellow parts if it shows up. The bird in the background to the right. Mizaki hid his grin upon hearing this. Niwa released the lizard from his hand into Katsugi's palm, but just as more words were to be exchanged, someone came walking nearby, their footsteps steady and confident. The head that appeared by the door was the one from abroad. The newcomer placed some lunchboxes to one side, nodded, and made to leave. Katsuragi called out after him, "Sir, what about your meal? Are you not hungry?" The man smiled upon hearing Katsuragi's words. "I already ate." "Oh, this is it. I hope that you, my lords, may also find time to sate your hunger soon." "Your guest, sir. To see you help in these trifling matters fills me with embarrassment," Niwa said with sincerity. The man smiled as if it was no matter. Then, with a nod, he departed. "Aww, Wanderer." He was so happy to see him. I don't know if he consciously knew when he went back, but he definitely changed. It's gonna make me sad. Like a falling spear, the black cloud reached the bottom of the boat and was joined in its berefitness of direction. Like a charging beast, they plunged into the shoreline. Scant steps away, the mechanic laughed, slowly approaching the grand wreck. Not but half an arm was left of the one who cried out for help, and with a plop, it landed on the mechanic's feet, who crouched to better study the object, straining against the urge to take a bite. Yet he did not, for the dark cloud swirling down had already picked the remnants of the ship clean. I don't really know what's different too well in that one. I'd probably have to go back and read the original. Then a second ship was sent, followed by a third and fourth. Each who left to seek salvation did so under foul skies and bleak fortunes. Reason dictated that they should not have risked anyone else, but the situation in Tatsuna was severe. They needed to gain aid from Inazuma, even should it cost them more lives. Yeah, that's it. Content has changed. Another effect of tampering with the information in Irminsul. The balladeer said he'd erased 2 of his names. If he really succeeded, must have taken all of his might, but still.
Well, what do you think?
Masterpiece.
Hey, Traveler. Remember how last time Akaba was saying how he wished he could gather more information about all this? Well, we just got back from Inazuma. So how about we tell them what we learned?
What did you find out? Something big?
It's a long story. Basically, we have some friends in Inazuma, and...
The writers you learned about the reading.
Wow, so many new details. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Well, well, so it all comes down to one man's desire for revenge. Huh. You heard this from a member of the Arminoma clan, you say? Then I guess it must be true. Ugh. So there's no ghost story here after all.
This new information actually lends further credence to my hypothesis. Evidently, swordsmiths were seen as having an incredibly prestigious role in society those days, to the extent that harming them was conceived of, at least by the perpetrator, as a way of exacting revenge against those in power.
Yes, okay, point taken, you were right. But that doesn't mean I can't carry on with my novel.
they're back at it. These guys are really into this.
Oh, so sorry. Look at us, prattling on about our projects and ignoring you. Thank you so much for the information.
You're welcome. See ya.
Keep us in the loop if you find out anything else.
Will do.
Quit following me.
Behold!
Nahida, we're here!
Traveler, Paimon, how have you been?
Ugh, where to start? Paimon hasn't had a moment's rest this whole time. That night, we ended up chatting and chatting until suddenly the sun was up. And then he decided he wanted to go to Inazuma.
I was investigating the situation with the balladeer.
The balladeer? It sounds like some kind of code name.
Oh no.
You look troubled. Is there something you need to tell me?
Even Nahida doesn't remember. Just like last time, any changes to Imransal affect her as well. The balladeer acted quickly. He finished erasing himself before Nahida could stop him. I'm the only one who still remembers the things that were erased. Once again, I am the record keeper.
Traveler? Hey, what's wrong? You look so upset.
There are things that have happened that only I can remember. And I have to tell you the truth. Broken and scattered across time. Named the balladeer, created by the Electra and the puppet who lived among men. Series events and betrayed, left to roam the world beyond. With no trust for humans and only love for the gods, he bore his grudge for years as he grew in strength and returned to Inazuma to take his revenge. He tried to vain, but become a deity with the Gnosis and ended up losing everything. Finally, he entered Imransal and learned the truth behind his betrayal, knowing now that his entire life was built on lies. He did the unthinkable in an attempt to reverse his tragic fate.
That's quite a story. So, this puppet known as the balladeer erased himself from Irminsul, hoping that he could change the past.
But how was he even able to do that?
As the traveler said, he very nearly became Sumeru's deity. Admittedly, I remember it a little differently. I don't recall finding anyone inside the machine after we defeated it. Nevertheless, it does make sense. If someone were to successfully erase themselves from Irminsul, the world would change to reflect the new reality.
So, you believe this person really existed, and we just don't remember him because he literally changed the world?
Yes. Theoretically speaking, it is possible to do this. But I'm struggling to imagine the kind of person who would dare go through with it. The traveler comes from a world beyond Tevat. That's why there's no information about him in Irminsul, and it also explains why any changes to Irminsul wouldn't affect him. So if there's anyone in the world capable of retaining memories from a past that has been rewritten, it's you. It's quite incredible when you think about it.
You can say that again.
Paimon's having a hard time understanding this balladeer guy's motivations. Why did he do it?
I can only make inferences based on the information we've been given. As for what kind of person he was, only you remember that.
I'm not really sure. We were enemies after all. I don't know his perspective on all this, so I can't say why he did something so extreme. Did he want to resent reset everything? Or save someone? Or did he want to completely undo his existence? Everything can be set right. It's time to solve this once and for all. Maybe that's all there is to it. I still remember the question he asked. He asked me specifically, and my hesitation gave him his answer. I hesitated because I witnessed great Lord Rugravakta erase her own existence, but I can't tell Nihida that. To put it another way, I know why the Balladeer was so sure it could work, but I can't tell them that.
Something else worrying you? Something that you can't share? It couldn't change the fate of the ones who had died, right? Once the Balladeer realized he hadn't been betrayed after all, it must have completely changed his view of the people of Tatarasuna. Now he saw them as friends again. He couldn't keep hating humans after that. And if he thought there was a chance he could save his old friends, it would be hard not to try. The story makes sense, every part of it. The Balladeer tried to achieve godhood with the doctor's help. He was unsuccessful, but retained the power to connect with Irminsul. That power then enabled him to change what was recorded in Irminsul and erase himself, even though he didn't have much strength left.
Yeah, it does make sense, but it still ended in tragedy for his friends. It just feels so hopeless. He gave everything to do this, but it seems like he got nothing in return.
Yeah, he changed the world in many ways, and yet he died, and yet the dead still didn't get a second chance. Those fated to a tragic end could not be saved. What exactly did he want to fight back against? The betrayals in his in his life? Or did he wish he'd never exist at all?
Please wait a moment. I want to check something. Found it. This should be the one.
Oh, it's so cute.
It turns out that I have a strange way of confirming everything he has told us.
What is it?
A record from a personal collection. It was tucked away in a corner. You should take a look.
Oh? Information presented to you in a way that resembles a fairy tale.
Is this a fairy tale? Who wrote it?
This matches everything I said.
I authored this record myself.
Huh? You wrote a fairy tale that somehow has something to do with the Balladeer?
When combined with the Traveler's narrative, it's clear that this story is an allegory. Everything in it is a symbol for something else.
Hold on. So this record survived from the past?
Yes. Any information about the Balladeer or the Kabuki Mono and other records will have been changed. But I wrote this story in a way that means it was left intact. Changing the information in Irminsul changes to that. But Irminsul can't change information that was well hidden in advance. I guess I must have written this story as a backup before the Balladeer entered Irminsul.
That's incredible! What a great idea!
And sending the Traveler into Irminsul with the Balladeer must have been a further precaution. I knew he'd remember everything. This story is abstract enough that it still resonates with the present information recorded in Irminsul. But if we connect all the different pieces together, the true story that emerges is the one he told us. The now erased life of the Balladeer.
I mean,
there was once a lone monster draped in fox fur. The monster found a family of foxes, joined them, and they became friends. The monster lived with the family day and night, and everyone treated it as one of their own. Once in a while, the monster would take off its fox fur at night and lament to itself as it gazed at its reflection in the water. I am a monstrosity, yet they are too foolish to see it. I pity them.
Besides the story, this is extremely cute.
But the monsters soon found solace when another came to live among the foxes who was not their kin. A kitten, carved from the wood of a white tree, who had been abandoned by the humans. The kitten too wished to become a fox, but its tail was too slender, and it could not grow a coat of richly colored fur. Yet when the other foxes saw this, they spoke words of comfort to the kitten. Even without a tail and fur like ours, you are still one of us. Furious at this happy resolution, the monster lit a fire on the mountain. The terrified animals panicked as the fire spread. The only way to extinguish the flames was to make a sacrifice. A gray fox stood up and addressed the monster. It said, "You are the cleverest among us. Surely you can help us find a way to solve this." The monster smiled, led the fox toward the fire, and murdered it. The gray fox's heart was turned into a beautiful drop of water, clear, spotless, and pure. The monster gave the heart of water to the kitten, telling him, "The foxes have decided. You are the one who must be sacrificed. Take this, quench the flames, and die for your fox kin." The fire was extinguished, but the kitten lived. It left that side of the mountain and found a little bird who had a broken wing.
Well, it's telling more of Wanderer's story of the little kid he finds.
The two promised they would spend their whole lives together, but the little bird did not have long left to live. It passed away soon after. After burying the bird, the kitten left the mountain for good. Never again would it cherish a single creature, nor a single blade of grass that stood on that mountain. The kitten spent the nights wandering aimlessly, gnashing its teeth at the moon. How it wished to swallow the moon and devour the moonlight. If the world could only return to darkness, then it would finally be peaceful and content. I will become the new moon, the answer to everything. Then, no one will know that there were once birds, foxes, and cats in this world. And no one can know that they were different.
That was so good illustrations.
I remember now. This is not just the Balladeer story. It is his very own memories. I made a backup so that it would be preserved no matter what happened. To become a god, he was experimented on and modified countless times. It was brutal torture, and the only reason he was able to survive is that he was a puppet. This memory was extracted from him by the scholars. Presumably, they kept it to have something to defend themselves with. Creating a deity was just the first step. Some of them wanted to be able to control it. That's why they backed up his memory for later use. I buried it deep inside one of my own dreams, and then hid it inside an allegorical story so that it wouldn't be altered.
It's hard to believe that this person really existed, let alone that he tried to get rid of us on more than one occasion. Paimon has no memory of him at all. He completely vanished like a puff of smoke.
The Balladeer agreed to help me look for information about the Descenders, and although he was unsuccessful, he still helped you. Before he vanished, he confirmed an important detail, that Conria was where your twin first came into this world. We still don't know how the change to Irminsul will affect the senior ranks of the Fatui, but in all likelihood, they won't even remember their own Harbinger.
It sounds like Paimon wouldn't like this guy a whole lot if he was still around. But still, Paimon doesn't like the way it all ended that much better.
This is why wisdom alone cannot answer all our questions. We look, we see, and we comprehend, but the question still troubles us. So the answer is not everything. People yearn to find the truth and then conquer the troubles they face. When you give someone the truth, you give them a chance to choose their own destiny. To others looking on, this may seem like a pointless endeavor, but for him, the chance to act on his desire to disappear must have meant a lot. Never forget that even when we walk beneath dark clouds along a road filled with suffering, the light of wisdom is always there, guiding us toward a better destination. And that is what you have been doing all along.
Yeah, Nahida's right. Cheer up! How about we go get something to eat? We can pick up this heavy conversation again later.
Good idea. Paimon, why don't you take him out for a walk to clear his head?
You got it! Come on, Traveler! You need to get out of your head for a while. You'll feel much better after taking a walk.
Oh?
Let's go get a snack from one of the stalls in the Grand Bazaar! That'll be sure to...
I'll do that later. Shade upon red silk. Hold on a moment. Manacora. Oh, it's the start of Dea. Huh. Let's see if we can continue this or call it a night, I think. And then I'll resolve with... Actually, let's resolve this with Dea. And then once it allows us to continue for the main Archon quest, we'll continue from there another time.
The wind rises.
Lagging out, man.
Paimon's trying to remember. What else did we put on our shopping list? Oh, what a mouth-watering smell. Paimon would know the aroma of biryani anywhere. Let's go get some. We can still add it to the list.
Well, if it isn't the Traveler and Paimon. Wasn't expecting to see you here.
Hello there. Oh, it's been quite a while.
Huh. So you two are still hanging out together. Dea, didn't you say last time that you were gonna head back to the desert?
I said I was going to resign from being her bodyguard, not that our friendship was over. We're still the best of friends. The Holmayanis also still post jobs from time to time. Their pay is always generous, so me and the other mercs never pass them up.
I told Dea to just stay at our place when she took one of those jobs a few days ago. My parents were delighted. They even said that it always felt like we were missing someone whenever Dea wasn't around.
That sounds like something they would say, all right. They're always so welcoming. Anyway, the job is already taken care of, so I was gonna head back to the brigade as soon as I finished a little shopping. But the master kept insisting, and I ended up staying for another day.
You can stay for as many days as you want, Dia. Father hasn't even gotten around to treating you to his best dishes yet.
You know I'm not the kind of person to stay put in one place like that, my lady. Don't worry, though. There'll always be next time.
But she said they'll treat you to the best dishes! I can't believe you can still refuse that!
But wait. Didn't you say last time that you would take me on a trip to the desert? Why don't you just take me with you today, when you leave? There are so many places I still haven't visited yet.
I'm sorry, my lady, but no can do. There's still a few things I need to take care of back at the brigade. Besides, the desert hasn't exactly been the most peaceful place lately.
Oh, come on. Not this again. That's also what you said last time and the time before that.
I know, I'm sorry. Just give me some more time, and I promise I'll plan the best trip ever for you.
All right, fine. To be perfectly honest, it's not that I wanted to go, it's more like I feel like something is off about you lately. Ever since you first set foot on the estate a few days ago, you've been acting anxious and even paranoid. Have you been delaying our trip because you've run into some kind of trouble?
Nah, are you kidding? You're worrying too much.
Would you swear on that? Friends shouldn't lie to each other, you know. I wouldn't pry any further if you're willing to swear on what you just said. But if something really is bothering you, then just tell me. You know I'll help you however I can.
Oh, looks like Dunyarzad was onto something.
You're too perceptive, my lady. Seems I can't hide anything from you. I just thought that nothing good could come out of telling you about the messy happenings of mercenaries. Knowing too much only leads to more trouble. Mercenary life is a dog-eat-dog world where Mora reigns supreme. Everything operates on a completely different set of rules.
That doesn't change anything about what I just said, though. We're still friends, and I can only support you if I understand what's bothering you.
My lady, you're not gonna stop until you drag it out of me, are ya? All right, I'll share what I know. Let's go somewhere else first. This isn't exactly the best place for a discussion. Okay, let's talk here. Just try not to draw any extra attention. As you may already know, the Eremites have both a lot of mercenaries and a complex organizational structure. Many mercs are no different than me, just going around looking for jobs to earn some mora. My brigade is called the Blazing Beasts. We're not a large group, but every member is loyal and brave. However, not all Eremite brigades are like mine. Some are willing to cross all kinds of lines for the sake of mora. The most notorious is a faction known as Deshret's Relics.
Deshret's Relics? Judging from the name, they must really look up to...
Yep, you got it. I've heard that you've already crossed paths with Ain al-Akmar. They're one of the groups under the Relic's banner.
Oh, you mean the group that tried to sell us the Divine Knowledge Capsule? Yeah, they weren't friendly at all.
Deshret's Relics is composed of many smaller brigades like Ain al-Akmar. The Relic's headquarters issues orders to all brigades under his control. On any other day, I would want nothing to do with them. Unfortunately, though, the brigade that's stirring up trouble now is none other than Dakan al-Akmar.
Dakan?
I think it means beard or something. Believe me, it's a really stupid name. I found it insufferable for years. Anyway, the real issue is that Dakan al-Akmar is led by my father, Kusela.
Say what now?
I think I'm starting to understand your anxiety now. But what did they do?
I won't go into details, my lady, but they've been involved in a lot of violent incidents. We're talking hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yep. The scenes tend to be quite gruesome, too. They strip the victims of all their valuables before murdering them. Not only have they targeted merchant caravans and ordinary citizens, but other mercenary brigades as well.
That's beyond terrible. They won't even spare their own kind.
I don't know how Deshret's relic sees it. All I do know is that Dakan al-Akmar has become more and more aggressive over the last few years. If I don't do something about them, then even my brigade or the people of Aru village could become their next target. I just wish I knew what's driven him to do this.
Yeah. How can your father do such terrible things?
I don't know. People change. He's always been pretty pathetic. But at least in the past, there were still a few lines that he wouldn't cross.
That's setting the bar pretty low.
I mean, if he was even remotely decent, then why would I have to leave the brigade and cut all ties with him? He was loud and foolish, with no real sense of purpose. Instead of doing anything useful, he spent most of his time drinking and chasing after women. Of course, the other brigade members were just like him. Their ruckus would go on night after night.
Sounds like a nightmare.
What about your mother? Did she ever step in to stop them?
Unfortunately, I never knew my mother.
I'm sorry, Dia. I didn't know.
It's all right, my lady. That's pretty common in mercenary circles. Didn't I mention that my father was chasing after women? I was the result of one of those encounters with some random person. He told me that he wasn't sure who my mother was. And in any case, she never came to see me. He'd say, "You'll be fine as long as you remember to stick with Dad." But even then, he left most of the parenting to the brigade. The one thing I do remember is that he used to tell me stories. But the problem was that he had terrible taste. He only knew a few stories, and even those tended to be pretty stale. They were tales of desert warriors defeating dragons in the forest, or stories of mercenaries rescuing princesses from rebel armies.
Sounds like your typical fairy tales.
More or less, yeah. They were interesting maybe the first or second time around, but after about 20 repeats, they started to get a little dull. He seemed to think those stories were the best things ever, though. He was so into them that he'd call the whole brigade over and make them perform the whole thing as a play. Even the toys he gave me would all be story props. I'd get helmets, shields, and toy swords. It was only much later when I realized that the shows were more for him than they ever were for me.
What an interesting guy.
Yeah, I've always found him pretty childish, but that was something I could just shrug off. I had no reason to despise him. Until I grew up and learned the true face of Deshret's relics for myself. Looting, blackmail, violence, and fraud. They not only accepted such heinous acts, they would even openly boast about them. No one in the brigade was any kind of hero. Instead, my father and his cronies were more like the bad guys that needed to be taken down. Did they really think that as long as they didn't do any of that stuff right in front of me, I would never know?
I think I can understand your feelings. The difference between perception and reality must have hit hard.
Yeah, but don't worry, my lady. It's all water under the bridge to me now. I had a huge argument with my father and left that place behind for good. I'm not investigating them due to any bitter feelings I still have towards my father. I just want to protect those that are close to me. Yeah, I told the boys to gather as much information as they could. Most of the reports concern violent incidents, but there's also some talk of smuggling.
I see. But isn't this investigation incredibly dangerous?
It is, but every mercenary lives life on the edge. It's a lifestyle that I enjoy.
That may be true, but it'll be impossible for those who care about you not to worry.
Well, now you get why I didn't want to share any of this with you.
What should we do? They both have valid concerns.
Huh? But there's no need for you to get caught up in this mess, too.
Well, he's super tough, so if he went into the desert with you, then Paimon bets the problem would be solved in no time.
I'm inclined to agree. I'd feel a lot more at ease if you took him along to help. I'll wait for news from you in the city until then. Please, stay safe.
I'm honored that you care so much for me, my lady. All right, then let's get moving. Our first stop will be Caravan Rebot, where we can catch up a bit with my fellow mercs.
With that is completed, and I should be able to start. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to Mondstadt for now, but I will call that a night for the Archon quest and my fight with what's her name failed since I didn't do it on this level 70 thing. I did it on level 60 and I ended up losing the item I needed to update Kokomi. Ah, such a mess.
Squall Fury.
It'll just take longer. If not, I'll be updating other characters such as Cookie, Yao, and possibly Chongyeon, because he is also my other favorite cryo character besides Kaya, and helping Yanfei. I need to go battle some things if I want to update her. Oh, never mind. I have all the items. I'll be working on that then. Alrighty then. Hope everyone has a good night.